Hello, I'm so excited to talk today because we are talking about two of the biggest players. Now, scratch that, the two biggest, no question mark, no doubt about it, players in the SEO space. Ahrefs in one corner and Semrush in the other corner. These are tools that SEOs have been using for years. You'll find SEOs prefer one or the other, though, based on, in my opinion, where on the sliding scale of SEO those professionals work on a day-to-day basis. My high level take off the bat is that SEMrush is the best tool for keyword research in anything and everything on page SEO related. So, finding those opportunities, looking at competitor gaps, and optimizing content to appear in those SERPs, SEMrush is going to be your go to. Ahrefs, on the other hand, is very, very good at off-page SEO, very good and very accurate with their backlink results. You can do those same sort of analysis sort of strategies and find backlink gaps between you and your competitors, find broken links that your competitors used to have. Now they're 404, and you can reach out to those third-party sites and get those links pointing to your site instead. So you can build your authority in that way and many other ways. There are many, many strategies. I don't want to mislead you, though, because both of these platforms cover everything and anything and all things to do SEO, from just simply looking at your site to tracking the specific keywords you want to track, whether that's this, to even looking at the AI visibility, which is growing into one of, I'd say, digital marketing's biggest question marks and biggest concerns these days. Is just how visible are you in the LLMs? Does ChatGPT, Copilot, Perplexity, do they cite your website? Are you influencing the results? As well as some technical SEO things like site audits, etc., etc. That said, there are some differences, some key differences, I would say, between these two platforms, and it starts with pricing. So I'll go over here on the SEMrush tab, go over to pricing, and show you what I mean. So first of all, I will make sure we're comparing apples to apples and just going monthly, and show you the subscription tiers. So each of these platforms have 3 subscription tiers. SEMrush's being Pro, Guru, and Business. Ahrefs being Light, Standard, and Advanced. You'll notice the big dollar signs here, right? Ahrefs is $10 cheaper on a month-to-month basis. So if price is your biggest decision-making point, you might be tempted to go the Ahrefs route. But this is where the fine print comes in handy, because I actually believe SEMrush is the most cost-effective tool for you, simply because Ahrefs models its monetization system on credits. So they are a credit-based system. Certain actions you do within this tool will burn your credits, and you will find yourself reaching that cap quicker than you would like. I'll just put it that way. So I have often found myself purchasing new batches of credits to get myself through the month, and wishing I was just on a monthly subscription that did everything for me without any credits, like SEMrush, whenever I use Ahrefs. Both tools are bottlenecked via projects, though, I should point out. So projects are essentially websites or folders, I should say, that you add to these tools, and from there you can perform actions such as your technical SEO sweeps or your position tracking setup. These sorts of actions that are pretty core to being an SEO. So essentially, if you're signing up for Pro, you'll have 5 projects that you can maintain at a given time. You can always remove one and add another if you lose a client and need to add a new one, that sort of thing. But that is worth pointing out, that the project-based system is also in play for both tools. Aside from that, though, let's look at what they offer in terms of analytics when you go in and let's just log into a tool and plug in a domain, right? Look it in the search bar, see what they give us. So I've looked up Forbes for both tools, and we'll compare and contrast. So right off the bat, you can notice the keyword research focus on the sidebar that's front and center on SEMrush, and in Ahrefs, lo and behold, it's backlink focused. So you can really feel which side of the spectrum they lean into just off the rip. I would say that SEMrush's dashboard is more beginner friendly in that the data it presents is pared back slightly to the essentials and helps you make decisions faster. You'll notice just in this graph here, for example, we just have organic traffic and paid traffic that we can look at. And of course, you can change the time frames, etc. If you look at all time, you'll notice digital publishing is hurting slightly, which might not be news to some. Ahrefs, on the other hand, you'll look at their chart and there are many more checkboxes to check. You can look at the site's domain rating over time. You can look at how many pages have been crawled by the Ahrefs crawler over time and look for big spikes like this and reverse engineer or go in and see, okay, what exactly happened during this point in time? Why was there such a big spike in crawled pages? It's really useful for finding index bloat and these sorts of tech SEO tasks that might come across your desk. So Ahrefs is going to be your go-to if you are comfortable with this sort of data and looking for more granular metrics to be surfaced quicker for you. What's more, each tool sort of has their own rabbit holes that they feel better optimized for. And again, it boils down to where it feels like each leans. So for example, when I've plugged in Forbes, right? I can quickly see by clicking the best by links here on the sidebar, the pages that have the highest quality links pointing to them, what's driving their domain authority, that sort of stuff. You can also look at internal links and the whole 9 yards. Semrush, on the other hand, I love for looking at content strategy. So if you go to the organic research widget and you go to their pages tab, you can see the structure of their URLs, and you can start to filter if you notice patterns. So let's say you are a website that you notice frequently Paul Tassi is publishing content that is outranking yours or in the same niche as you. You can filter by /Paul Tassi and look at what pages are driving traffic that were written by him or any other sort of strategic use case that follows. I'm going to use this URL pattern for my benefit to see which pages drive traffic and therefore which keywords of those pages drive traffic. Really, really handy tool. Again, I feel like it's worth pointing out, though, you can accomplish both of those things on both tools. It's just a matter of presentation and the ease by which you can get to that section of the tool. Okay, let's get granular with one of these options here. We won't do it for everything, but I'll stick to the core function of what I believe to be the core function of SEO, and that is organic research, looking at the keyword level of a given domain, a given URL, all that good stuff. And we'll look at the differences between the two, what information is presented, and more importantly, how it's presented. And that's where I think is a key difference in the core function of SEO, in my opinion, and why I prefer one tool over another. So again, we're looking at Forbes.com, and we're presented on Semrush with columns like keyword, search intent, the position of this URL, the keyword difficulty, the traffic, etc. Very similar columns in Ahrefs. Slightly more information. You've got change metrics here. If you click onto this sort of line graph icon, you'll see historical context over time, which URLs were ranking. You'll see a lot for this search query because this is almost a daily post in a different search results page every single day based on what the New York Times has published. So it's a hence sort of search query. You can do the same thing on Semrush, though, and look at historical context. It's not broken down quite as granularly, though. So you've got months here, and in Ahrefs, you have days. So you can get, for a digital publisher like Forbes.com, looking for very timely information, granular information, this Ahrefs tool would be much more useful. And you could see, okay, between the 29th of July and the 6th of August, we did not rank as well. Was there a difference in the cadence of our production queue? Did we publish at a later time and competitors outranked us, that sort of thing? So you can get more granular with Ahrefs in that way. But again, I prefer the way that Semrush presents information, especially in terms of presenting, here's where a given URL ranked when we crawled this search query. And I love this magnifying glass feature. So it opens up the actual SERP that was crawled and essentially screenshotted. It highlights your URL for you. The reason I like this is because it shows you the picture very literally of what a user saw at that time. And it tells you how much real estate other SERP features occupy. And you can very clearly see when new SERP features get added, why your traffic dips even though you still rank first, for example. So this sort of visualization, I suppose I'm just a visual learner, is very, very valuable to me as opposed to simply relying on the icons themselves, which is what Ahrefs essentially does. Ahrefs, real quick, I do want to give them their chops, their fair share. They do offer a little glimpse at the SERP, but it's not an actual screenshot. It's not the actual search results page. You'll see the top stories is condensed. It does have a nice feature in terms of changes over time. So 11th of July versus 10th of August, and it'll show you changes in URLs. A lot of these are just going to be marked as lost because, again, the type of search query this is a daily, very volatile SERP. But I just can't get over this. This is just so insanely valuable to me, and just translating these. Okay, there's an image pack, there's a video carousel, there's site links, there's people also asked into, okay, here's what it actually looks like to a user, is an experience that I cannot quite get from Ahrefs, and a big reason why I prefer Semrush. Okay, to recap, Ahrefs and Semrush, two very robust tools, two tools that can take you from the beginning to the end stages of an SEO process. Whether you're ideating content, finding keyword opportunities through a gap analysis with your competitors, you're building links to that content, or you just want to track how that content is ranking over time, these tools will have you covered. They can even surface how visible your brand is in LLMs like ChatGPT, track AI overviews, all of those sorts of things. Very powerful products. That said, you can feel their origin stories and how they present information. Again, they're presenting very similar buckets of information. It's just how it's structured and presented that I feel is slightly different. Semrush really grew as a keyword research tool to where it is today. Ahrefs similarly as a backlink tool, as an offsite tool to where it is today. So Ahrefs I prefer for backlinks and link building initiatives. Semrush I prefer for keyword research and content planning and finding gaps between my website and my competitors. All of that said, I believe the biggest differentiator and the biggest reason to choose one tool over the other is simply the pricing model. The 500 credits per user that Ahrefs models and offers its users is simply not enough bang for its buck, and just enough to be annoying to where I prefer Semrush straight up, simply because of that, and simply because it's a one size fits all $139, $95 a month solution. Both tools will get you where you need to go, but I prefer Semrush.